everyone, and welcome back to the LOI Talk podcast. I'm absolutely delighted today to be joined by Dylan Talks Footy and Millenial Dad. These lads are two huge TikTokers, and we were lucky enough to have them at the event at the Dylan O'Mahony Charity match just Saturday gone. So lads, first of all, I'd just like to introduce you and thank you so much for taking the time to come on. We'll go to Dylan first. How's it going, Dylan?
I'm not doing too bad. Thanks very much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Great to hear, Dylan. And Millenial Dad, how's it going? Thanks so much for coming on.
How's the farm, bud? Yeah, delighted to be here, boy. As I said, like, this is respite for me here now, so 20 minutes of silence. Can't complain.
Great, that's the job. Go ban yourself. We'll just get straight into the questions, lads. Obviously, the match, by the way, went really well at the weekend. Just for anyone who wasn't at it or didn't get to watch it yet, it's up on YouTube there. So anybody who wants to watch it back, feel free, and hopefully there'll be more events like that in the future and all that. So just to get straight into the questions, lads, for people that might not be entirely familiar with you or your content that you do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Go on, Luke, you can go first.
Perfect.
Well, not like an awkward cue. I kind of started off a bit of everything, a bit of here and there. I suppose my niche is comedy, that's the road I'm trying to go down. The football thing then as well, you see, I was after building a little bit of a following, and football is a huge part of my life as well, but I didn't want to be ramming that down people's throats, you know what I mean? And to be completely honest, it kind of skews the stats. Like, if you build an account in a certain niche and then you start ramming another niche down their throat, it's not going to do your stats any favours either, to be honest. So I kind of just branched off and set up a football podcast with my buddy last year. Just kept it completely organic, like, didn't really push it again on my own profile, because you don't want people to be going over and following that just because you told them to, you know, that kind of way. So I kind of let it grow organically, heading into the second season here now. And I suppose in between then as well, I got back out on the turf for the first time in, no joke, 8 or 10 years, man. And with the help of you, obviously, you know, and inviting me to play in the Derry O'Mahony Charity match. So that's been an unbelievable experience overall. And I'm going to try and keep the football thing going now, like, because, you know, it's you kind of fall in love again, like, with it. You know, if you start, like, obviously, it consumes my life weekly, like, you know what I mean? Dylan will know a thing or two about that. Like, it literally controls the emotions, especially following Man United, like, and Cork City as well at the moment, the season we're having. You know, we've definitely seen better seasons there as well. But yeah, I suppose thanks to yourselves, lads, for reigniting the football thing, because I'm definitely going to keep that going, both content-wise and physically as well. I'm going to try and keep the ball rolling with the football to keep the legs intact. So that's about the size of it on my end, I suppose.
Well, I tell you, it was our pleasure to have you at the event because, speaking for myself, I've been watching you a good while now, and like, the content is unreal. And I know a lot of the lads think the same as well. So no, absolutely, it was great to have you. But Dylan, do you want to tell the viewers a bit about your content?
Yeah, so I kind of started off a couple of years ago. It's a good few years ago now. I did it trying to set up kind of money for a charity for a buddy of mine that's sadly no longer with us. But kind of grew from there. Grew pretty quick, to be honest. And over the course, I suppose maybe the last 2 years, I probably posted a good bit less. I didn't really post at all. It's only kind of lately I'm getting back into it again, because like I kind of missed the vibe of it as well. Like, get my opinion out there, and I see the way that football TikTok has gone now. With Luke, you'll be the same as well. Like, you're looking at like people that are talking about football, and it's all about like how much you can digest a game of football and make you sound like some sort of football coach. And I just don't think that that's the way that football should be explained by people that aren't playing at the highest level. So
it's saturated with rage bait as well, isn't it, man? It's just all rage bait now as well, like.
Yeah, it's not good. So I'm not saying that's the only reason I got back into it. I kind of a bit more time, a bit more willingness to go into it. I just kind of fell out of love with it for a while as well. But yeah, no, it's all Man United content to me. Like Luke said, he made a really good point. When you're just going down the football route, you kind of create your own niche, and you can build a good niche from it. But like it's strictly football. You're targeting as a targeted age group as well. You're a target audience. So there's only a limit as to how much you can push your account. So I was thinking about going into something else as well. But yeah, that's kind of me for now.
Unreal, lads, unreal. Yeah, I know. You're two fellas I just happened to watch, like, myself for a while. Like, so it was unreal to meet you as well. Just to get into the next question, had any of you played in charity matches before, or was this your first? We'll I suppose go to Luke first to keep the tradition going.
First charity match for me. And yeah, again, man, it's unbelievable to be considered and to be a part of it. Like, it's I'll be completely honest, like you'd see from my content, I'm very community focused. Like, so I mean, I've helped a lot of causes since I started to grow a platform for myself, especially within the local community and Cork itself. Look, I'm all things Cork. Everything about my content is focused around Cork, and I suppose it's I'm grateful to you for giving me the opportunity, because football and, you know, being in a position where you can help someone and pushing the button on it, you know, that's what it's all about for me. So you gave me a platform to do that as well, and yeah, I appreciate it, man.
That's our pleasure. And what about yourself, Dylan? Was this your first match?
It wasn't. I played in a few of them before. Probably the first one was Match for Mind. I played it over in Wales. I played it twice. I think that's when the kind of charity football matches kind of started. It was really, really good at the time. There was a lot of really big creators there, raised a lot of money. I played in Goals for Gosh as well, over in Croydon, in Crystal Palace, Sellers Park. I played in that one as well, so I was lucky enough to play that one. And then obviously I played in Derry O'Mahony as well. I always said I wanted to get more into the Irish ones, because obviously, first of all, there's less travel involved. You don't have to go over to the UK for. But as well as that, again, I'd be like Luke myself. I want to kind of help out as much as I can. My own local place, Tipperary, on top of Cork at the minute. But yeah, I want to help out as much as I can, and help out any causes that are around that I can try and influence at all. I'll be trying to do so. As many Irish ones I can get onto, the better.
Oh, that's fantastic. Fair play to you, lads. Playing in St.Colmans Park, what was it like to walk onto a League of Ireland pitch? Because I know myself, like, you know, I never thought I'd step onto a League of Ireland pitch. Like, I was always an extremely average footballer, below average, you could say. And so, like, it was an amazing honor, you know. But what was it like for you, kind of stepping onto the pitch for the first time? We'll go to Luke again first.
Unbelievable, man. To be honest, like, I know it might sound a bit childish, like, but you're living out what it feels like to be a footballer, like, you know what I mean, for the night, for an evening, like everything down to the timing of it, you know, like midway through the second half, the floodlights come on, you're in, you know, one of the best stadiums Cork has to offer in terms of League of Ireland football, and just being able to walk out and play on the turf with you know, fans in the stand as well, just there to watch a game of ball and to support a good cause. It's unbelievable, man. Like, kitting up, as I said already, like that jersey with the LOI Talk crest, you know, the sponsor, the name, the number on the back, all has a lot of sentiment to me. It's something that I'll cherish, like, honest to God, like, as childish as it might sound, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, man. It's a fantastic feeling, and it's even better that it's only for the night, because you don't have to take on the pressures and the, you know, everything that comes with being a footballer, and you just get to live it out for 90 minutes. Like, it was phenomenal, an unbelievable experience for me. I would have done it again the following week. You know, I would do that every week, to be honest. It's that good of a feeling.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What about yourself, Dylan?
Yeah, again, like I said, I was lucky enough to play in Wrexham's. I played in Crystal Palace, but still, there's nothing that beats it in your own country walking onto a League of Ireland pitch. It's a lovely stand as well, lovely actual facilities they have there. I think Luke said it in one of his videos as well. He left his quads blowing in St.Colmans Park. I feel the very same. I still can't walk after I was in the gym this morning. Still can't do legs. I'm absolutely broke up. But again, you're living out a lot of people's dream getting onto a pitch. And again, I know people will say that, look, people are playing in front of 60, 70, 80, 90,000 week in, week out. Still, when you look at it from whatever scale you're thinking of, walking onto a pitch that has lights going down and there's people there to watch you, it's always a nice feeling.
100%, lads. No, I think that's great. You enjoyed it so much, and because, like, you would be, I know you're not going to say this yourselves, but you would be definitely towards the bigger creators that were there, you know. So the fact that you still, like, understood, like, how big of a deal it was to be playing in the League of Ireland ground is fantastic. Going into the game, was there anyone who you were looking forward to playing against, or was there even someone who you potentially dreaded coming up against? What about yourself, Luke?
Yeah, well, you know, ironically enough, now this fella here, like, I was kind of chatting to him before the game, and I knew he was a unit of a man. And you know, I stand here at 5'7". I was saying, please God, let him be a centre back. He's built like a centre back, because I knew I'd be on the opposite end of the pitch. You know what I mean? But Sean Carroll as well, definitely. Like, I know he's an athlete in his own right, to be fair, and I knew he'd be a tricky player, and I kind of ended up marking him for most of the game. And yeah, he's an elusive player, to be fair. So the two boys, I suppose, is what I was looking forward to see what they were made of, and neither of them disappointed, in fairness. Actually, there was another creator playing centre-back for us, McIntyre. He's from Galway, I think. He's a singer.
Oh, yeah,
really impressed by him, because I didn't know what to expect there. An absolute beast. What a shift he put in at centre-back for 90 minutes. Definitely worth an honourable mention for him as well. Class baller.
I was on the receiving end of a very bad tackle off him. I'm still shook after it.
Yeah.
He was very good. In fairness, he fully got the ball. I can't even complain, but I was shook after it, I'll be honest, lads. But
that man went home with war wounds, like.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. What about yourself, Dylan? Was there anyone you were looking forward to playing with or against?
Again, I played with Sean before, so I knew he was a baller. Anyway, he was really, really good when he played the match for Mind. I was following Luke from the very start, from when he started posting. I was good not to just play with him, but just to meet him and that as well, because obviously he's going a really good following in Cork as well, and I like his stuff. Jamie, I've been following Jamie a long time, and we know each other, been texting each other a good while as well, but I never actually met him in person. I didn't expect him to be so tall. I thought he played a really, really good game again. Who was it in the first minute? Was it you, John? Were he absolutely flattened in the first 5 minutes? Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was brilliant. Like, it just kind of sets the tone and gets people kind of up out of our chair. I was really surprised with the guy that played beside me, and I'm going to feel terrible now, but I'm after forgetting his name. But the guy with the mad hair, I was really surprised. I thought he had said before that he hadn't played football, but he was really, really good, really decent. The guy that I was marking that was on your team, Eze, I've never witnessed anyone so strong in my life. He put out his hand, tried to get me away from at one point, and his hand just touched my chest. I'm not small, like I'm 15 stone too, right? This man nearly sent me back to Tipperary just trying to feel where I was. Like, he was an absolute beast of a man. So I knew straight away coming up against him was going to be a sore night.
Yeah, there were some good players there. Like, it was a decent standard, in fairness, but Eze was just took my breath away. Like, he was absolutely brilliant, in fairness. Was there any standout moments from the match for you? I'll go to Luke again first.
To be honest, you know what? I felt like there was a few standout kind of, like, I don't know how you'd phrase this, but I felt like we got into a lot of good positions. It was just like the shooting was horrendous. Like, the shooting left us down big time. It would have been nicer, in fairness, the boys kind of ran away with it in the end. Like, it would have been nicer to have a closer affair. But I think that's kind of on us. Like, I feel like the teams, I was looking at the team sheets first, and I was kind of like, I knew a couple of lads on Dylan's team. Like, I knew for a fact that some of them were good. Like, and I kind of hadn't seen everyone play. So I was looking at teams. I was like, we're going to get trounced there, to be honest. But I felt they were actually matched up perfectly. I just kind of felt we let ourselves down a bit in some of the positions we got into. So I suppose, to answer your question, like, some of the shots that went up into the stand from us were standout moments to me, because I just felt like it was the difference between the boys running away with the game and, you know, us kind of staying in it, or whatever the case may be. Other than that, like, I could only really pick out some standout players. Again, Sean Carroll, Brian Greville as well, if I'm saying his name correctly, an absolute baller. I think he actually got man of the match, did he? And they definitely had more of the standout performances. Like, if I was looking at standout moments, I'd be looking towards their team, to be fair. Like, they were class throughout, in fairness to them, even as a unit. Like,
yeah, 100%. No, we appreciate that. We were very lucky to be managed by good man Rooks as well, so that helped us out. But what about yourself there, Dylan? Did you have any standout moments from the game?
Yeah, to be honest, I think he went 1-0 up, didn't he? Yeah, he scored the first one, and I'm going to toot my own horn here a small bit, but you very nearly went 2-0 up. How I damaged my leg so badly was kind of, I thought somebody, I don't know who it was. Was it Dara or so? I can't remember who it was.
I'm not sure who had it, but I saw your block, all right, to be fair.
Yeah, and what, like, 2-0 up in a game, in any game, it kind of, like, you automatically just take a deep breath and think you're going to be in for a long game. But I was really surprised with is it Cali? I could be after butchering his name there, but I thought he held up the ball really well. Yeah. I thought we grew into the game kind of as a unit as well. There was you had like real fast fullbacks on your side as well, and down your side was just so fast, and then linking up with Eze in the middle, I was really, really surprised with some of the standard that was there. Like, and it reminded me, I had barely kicked the ball in the last 2 years. It just reminded me, like, what football used to feel like. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, look, there was a couple of chances there. I think you go 2-0 up, you could easily go 4-0 up, and before we know it, it's a different game. Like, so, although the scoreline didn't reflect it, I think it could have been an awful lot more even than what it was. Actually, the first goal that he scored, it was completely on me, right? The ball was passed in by somebody out on, we'll say, our right back. And I swear to God, I thought the guy that was passed it, you can watch it in the YouTube, right? I thought the guy, when he passed it to him, I turned around to walk away. I thought it was on our team. I thought it was the same jersey. So I went to turn around to walk away. And next thing I was like, geez, he's against us. And I went to run back. But
you could see the surprise. That was Jake as well. You could see the surprise in his face as well, even to score that goal, to be fair.
Yeah, no, but yeah, look, I think it was an awful lot more even than what the scoreline suggests.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, no, not to be like critical, but I think there was a little small kick clash that could have caught you, a little bit there. So that wasn't 100% ideal, but sure, look, it's all a learning curve, I suppose. Is there anyone else, if there was anyone else you could have play in, say, a hypothetical match next year, who would you pick and why? We'll go to Luke again first.
I'm just thinking from a Cork point of view here. I would have thought Neil Talks Footy would have been a great shout. Like, no, I don't know. I haven't seen his content in a while. I'm not sure is he still doing it as heavily as he was, or if he'd be up for doing it. But I honestly, I thought when I had names in my head when all this kicked off, he was one of the first that popped up for me. I'm sure Dylan would have a much better idea now because he's way more heavily involved in football TikTok. But just in terms of Cork and everything it represents and the whole football thing, I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him there. He's a good bit of crack as well, in fairness to him. Like,
a great shout. Yeah, no, that's definitely one we could consider for next year. Did you have any in mind yourself, Dylan?
First person that came to my mind was Neil when I was thinking of Cork. Like, obviously, it's on in Cork. I feel like all the kind of bigger influencers that are down in Cork should have been like, or maybe they were asked. I don't know, but I definitely think that they could have been more down there. Few other good creators I think could have been involved in it, like kind of the faces of football TikTok in Ireland for all the world. The likes of Jonathan Morley, Paddy Murphy, and a few others. Look, maybe if there's more time next year, there's other people that are involved and might have more connections to get into these lads. But I definitely think there could be a few more football TikTokers in there, and even ex-League of Ireland players. I'm sure they'd be happy to help out. Yeah, I'm sure they'd be happy to help out a really good cause.
You know one that sticks out for me as well, actually, man, Tumbledino in Limerick. I don't know if he plays or not, but his character is box office, man. He would be box office.
Brilliant.
From what I know, I don't think Adam does too many events or anything like that. I tried to get in touch. I tried to get in touch with Adam a couple of times for different, like even different brands that are coming. I think he'd be great for, and he tends to kind of stay away from that side. It was all pure entertainment with him. So, but yeah, definitely another great shout. Yeah.
Fantastic, lads. Yeah, no, they're all great shouts, and please God, if there is a match next year, that could they could be a few we could invite potentially. Just to close off the old interview there, just with a question for you, kind of putting you on the spot, so there's no pressure. What's one word you'd use to sum up the night? We'll go again to Luke first.
My own viewers should be able to predict what word I'm going to use here anyway. Sensational. Simple as that.
If I had to put it down into one word, and it probably doesn't describe it as well as what it actually was, but I think it's humbling. Like it really is a humbling experience, both like the physical demands that you haven't used in a while, but also it's humbling as well that you nearly feel honoured to be put on a pitch for such a good cause, and you feel like you can make a difference to something like that. Yeah, definitely humbling. Yeah.
Yeah, well said. I felt that as well. Definitely humbled me as well, to be fair.
Unreal, lads. That kind of brings us to the end of the interview. But is there anything at all you'd like to, say to the viewers as we close off, or gratitude from us, and it's just endless for you taking up your time to play it, But if you've anything at all you want to say to the viewers as we close off work away.
Well, just from my end anyway, I just want to again thank LOI Talk, thank everyone that was involved. It was an amazing night for an amazing, I suppose, cause as well. Again, I'd happily do another one next week. I do one every single week. Whenever you have one organised in the future, you don't even need to ask me will I be there. I'll be there. Just tell me the day and I'll be down.
Yeah, I just echo that to a T. To be fair, just so much appreciation for everyone involved, yourselves, down to the people that made the jerseys, the photographers there on the night as well, man. There was 6 or 7 of them. They were all like something out of Mission Impossible, sliding around into places to get angles of photos and all this crack. I was very impressed by all that, to be fair. And, you know, I've made some friends for life out of it, even people that aren't creators, like some of the people that were just surrounding the event. Phenomenal. A credit to everyone involved from the top to the bottom. And like Dylan as well, I'd relish the fact of being in this loop going forward, you know what I mean, and being involved in future events or whatever the case may be. You're a credit to yourselves.
Oh, lads, that means an awful lot. Thank you so much. And that kind of brings us towards the end of the video, or the end of the interview. But thank you so much, lads, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we'll no doubt stay in touch and do in the future again. I've no doubt about it.
Honor.
Really good interview there with the two lads. They're absolutely delighted with how it went and all that, and we covered some good ground. But anyway, we've got to get straight in to the Premier Division review now, and a bit in the First Division as well. So yeah, first of all, I'll just introduce you into the viewers. How are you keeping? And do you have anything to say before we get into the previews?
No, I suppose you know, just talk about the charity match. You know, it was for a really good cause, really good day out. Like, I wasn't there myself, but I watched the live stream. Just looked like a good day, and you know, obviously for good reasons. So all positives, like.
All positives, absolutely. It's I'm really happy. Like I was mainly interviewing the lads there and just and they were talking about their experiences. But I just briefly touch on my own experiences. Like, it was an incredible day, and I have nothing but gratitude for like all the people that worked so hard to organise it. It was. Hopefully we can see more of it in the future, because great cause, etc. So yeah, just nothing but gratitude on my end. But we'll just get straight into the Premier Division review here. So Jamie.
Yep.
So first game, it was actually a fairly game week that lacked goals for one of the first game weeks I can think this week that was such lacking in goals. But to start off, we have Derry City against Cork City. A game that definitely won't be remembered in years to come, it's fair to say. To sum up this game, the Derry City admin tweeted 5 more minutes of this. Like ... Like, he was literally sick of it. Like, yeah. But look, from a Cork City perspective, I think it's a decent point. Like, it's tough to go up to the brand new. They're up there with one of the best teams in the league this season by far. So yeah, it's really it was a decent draw to get, but we definitely need to be picking up more 3 points if we want to. If we do want to stay up. From a Derry City perspective, they probably will be disappointed, because that's their title charge. We seem to say it every week, but that seems their title charge is good as over. Yeah, like it's not the best result really for them. But yeah, I think both sides will be happy to clean sheet. That's 2 consecutive clean sheets for Cork City for the first time this season. So there's that. Jamie, what did you make of this game?
It's a good result for Cork City. Obviously, they won the week before, so that's 2 weeks in a row picking up points. If they are to do anything, now is the time. Like, the league is so close in terms of quality that, like, I suppose any team is capable of just running off 5 or 6 weeks of good results, and then all of a sudden things are looking good for Cork City, even though I don't see that happening. It's unlikely, but that's 2 weeks of decent results. Going up to Derry, getting a point is decent. From Derry's perspective, on a week where Shamrock Rovers dropped points and a week where Bohemians dropped points, it would have been really crucial to be getting 3 points against the worst team in the league at home. Obviously, they didn't know about the other 2 dropping points because those games were played afterwards. But still, in hindsight, it's 2 points dropped. The title race is as good as over. You would think now at this stage. It's poor, and I think the focus for them will now be on Europe and the Cup.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely not a game to remember. But the next one is equally not a game to remember for its standard of football at the O'Sullivan and Lamb Park. Drogheda United 0, Waterford 0. Could this turn out to be a crucial point for Waterford so they don't get dragged into the relegation battle? I think it's a pretty good result for both sides, really. Drogheda are kind of I suppose they are in the European race, so they could maybe view it as 2 points drop, but Waterford are definitely going to look at that as keeping a clean sheet and such a tough place to go is impressive, So I think it's both teams won't be too unhappy with it. But Waterford do want to watch themselves because they've had some dodgy results over the last few weeks and could get dragged back into that into that position. So Jamie, what did you make of this one?
It's not a bad result for either team, but Drogheda haven't picked up much points in recent weeks, albeit they haven't been playing the league because they were supposed to be playing in Europe, so they had games played in June, which they would have been playing in July. So it's not been a couple of weeks or even months where it's been particularly good for them, but they kind of want to continue that start to the season they had and hopefully be in Europe next season and actually play in Europe would be ideal. You would think Waterford are safe enough. I know Galway got a good result this week, but they don't look good at all. There's only 4 points between them, but again, it's a league where it's just so hard to call because every team is sort of capable of beating each other. But I just think Waterford have enough in the last 9 game weeks to just stay safe. I don't think they'll be pushing for Europe, even though, again, it's a run. Again, like the league is so close where 4 wins in a row could see you pushing for Europe, being in that Europe conversation. 4 losses in a row would see you in the relegation battle. So a point isn't a bad result in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, that's a very astute observation. Like, the league is incredibly close this year. Just to move on anyway, we've got Shelbourne 2, Bohemians 2. Bohemians thought they were coming away with all 3 points when Dawson Devoy put them ahead with 15 minutes to play in the Dublin Derby, only for John Martin to equalise in the 90th minute. Disappointing one for Bohs for their title charge. And I think Shelbourne, unfortunately, out of Europe now after last night. I don't think they're fully out of Europe just yet.
They're in the Conference League.
Conference League, thank you very much, yeah. So it's, they're more focused than that, obviously. So I think it's more disappointing for Bohs, especially considering, it's that classic thing in football where if you get a last-minute equaliser, it feels like a win. But if you concede equaliser in the last few minutes, then it feels like almost a loss. So, it's probably Bohemians the more disappointed out of these. But what did you make of this game, Jamie? Definitely the most entertaining one so far, probably the match week. Yeah,
it was another one where Ali Coote started and John Martin came off the bench, which has happened in the last 3 games, happened last night. And he scored. So it's interesting to see why John Martin doesn't play more. I know it's a partnership with Meepo, but like I've never been someone that's highly rated Ali Coote. I know he scored in the away leg in one of the Europe, I believe against Linfield. So obviously he showed up in some big matches, but like my general impression of him, certainly in recent weeks, is that John Martin is a better player. He's been scoring the goals. Maybe it's a fitness issue, but that's 3 big goals in 3 games. Obviously the European goals don't matter now. But it's a good point for Shells. Bohs are still having a good season. I think you'll take a point against the champions anytime really. It's better than losing. They're still the closest to Shamrock Rovers. I think the title race is over, but I think they'll be very happy considering the start of the season where the kind of general opinion was that they wouldn't be anywhere near the hunt for Europe, and now they're second and kind of comfortably the most comfortable that is in Shamrock Rovers in that European spot. Like, you would fancy them to do it. So it's probably, you would consider it 2 points dropped, but not an awful result.
100%. To move on, disappointing one for Shamrock Rovers. Galway 0, Shamrock Rovers 0. Galway United have stopped the rot of 4 losses in a row as they held Shamrock Rovers to a 0-0 draw. Only 4 points now between Galway and Sligo, who are, Galway now in potentially serious danger of dropping into the relegation playoff. It was Sligo are looking quite dodgy themselves. We'll get on to that in a minute. But this is obviously a really positive result for Galway when John Caulfield is under so much pressure, It's always a tough place to go, regardless of how well the team is playing, because it's quite far out for especially Dublin teams. I think Galway no doubt would be absolutely thrilled with this point. But from a Rovers perspective, anyway, I think at this stage they just need to kind of avoid losing, and they should be kind of okay to win. Like, they've still got I know they signed that new striker from the north. His name escapes me now, but they've still got kind of Michael Noon up front. So he's gonna have days where he's absolutely incredible and he's one of the best strikers in the league, and he's gonna have days like this where he struggles. So as long as they're keeping clean sheets and performing at an okay level, I don't think Rovers are going to be too worried. But what did you make of this one, Jamie?
Yeah, I think your striker point is interesting because I think Shamrock Rovers have a lot of rotation in terms of that position. There's a lot of competition. You obviously have Gaffney, who's still about. McGovern is the player you're on about, I think. Obviously, you have young Michael Noonan, Aaron Green as well. So I think that's one of their strengths in a league where you don't have a lot of top goal scorers. I think Shamrock Rovers, they don't have the best goal scorers. They don't have the singular best. They don't have a Padraig Hammond who's going to win the Golden Boot, for example. But they have 3 or 4 players who are going to get you 7 or 8 goals, which is crucial. Obviously, the goals didn't come in this game, so what I'm saying doesn't really apply. But I think focus will be on tomorrow night for their European fixture, to getting that deficit back. I don't think this game was very important. I don't think they'll be too upset because of the lead they have over the league.
Absolutely, and we wish Shamrock Rovers all the best in their effort tonight in Europe. At least some of us do, maybe not the Boys fans. Next one is St. Patrick's Athletic 3, Sligo Rovers 0. The key turning point in this game was the red card to Patrick McLean just before half-time, and St. Pat's had since overturned. Pats used it to their advantage and ran riot, with a brace from Mason Melia and a goal from Jake Mulroney. Is it time to have a serious conversation about the standard officiating in the League of Ireland? Now, I didn't see the decision myself. I should have really watched it before the podcast, but by all accounts, it shouldn't have been a red at all. And that obviously massively changed the course of the game for Sligo Rovers. When you have such quality like Mason Melia, Jake Mulroney, etc., it's really going to be a devastating effect when you pick up a red card. So yeah, it's a worrying. Sligo Rovers are starting to have a dodgy run of form. Their last win obviously came up against Cork City when Cork City absolutely battled it, but they probably, I'm pretty sure John Russell said after the match that he felt they got pretty lucky that night, and Owen Elding said they have other gears to go. So yeah, they've maybe got to watch themselves. They don't get dragged back into where they kind of were at the start of the season after making such a good comeback from 10th place. So yeah, it's an interesting game, a good result for St. Pat's as well. But what did you make of this one, Jamie?
Yeah, the red card was a very bad decision. I understand the reason. Well, I understand the logic of the red card. Like, I think from the referee's perspective, McLean took down he was the last man, but he wasn't. If you're looking from a very narrow vision, you could see that, but that's giving him a lot of credit. It was a really bad decision. I'm assuming it has been appealed. I'm not sure if it's been overturned. Melia class again as well, like his 2 goals, brilliant. This season, like, we've seen the best of him in terms of goal scoring numbers, definitely already. And if he continues on this form, maybe ups it a little bit, he could be in that Golden Boot conversation. He currently has 9, Ammons on 12, so there's a little bit of a gap. But I mean, again, he keeps the form he's in right now, where he's had a good 2 weeks. Like, he did kind of go on a little bit of a drought in the league anyway. He scored a few goals in Europe. Yeah, he's just one of the best talents the league's ever seen. It's our last season of him. We have 9 games of the Premier Division with him left. So we have to enjoy it while it lasts.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. Well said. So we're just going to touch on the First Division. So I'll just go through all the results at once, and then we'll ask for the thoughts after. So the results were Dundalk 6, Athlone 1. Athlone had the lead for just under 5 minutes early in the first half before Dundalk hit them for 6. Surely that's them crown champions now at this stage. Bray 0, Cove Ramblers 2. Thanks again to Cove Ramblers for St. Colmans Park. Massive win for Cove Ramblers on the road. They're the sole title challengers to Dundalk now. Look, they have been all season. Like, they've been very impressive. Kerry FC 0, Finn Harps 1. Finn Harps arrived at Mount Hall Park at 7 p.m. last night, just 45 minutes before kickoff, but came away with 3 points against 10-man Kerry. UCD 1, Wexford 0. Wexford had to play the entire second half with 10 men, but it was a late penalty that got UCD over the line as they looked to cement their playoff place. Longford 2, Treaty United 0. Only one win in 10 now for Treaty as they fell to a disappointing 2-0 loss away to Longford Town. Very disappointing for them. Jamie, what did you make as a Kerry FC fan of the first division there results?
Yeah, disappointing result for Kerry against Finn Harps, a team you would feel like they're well capable of beating. They obviously beat them on the opening game of the season. That game was overturned because of registration issues. But the red card was stupid. It was for disciplinary reasons, kind of Danakue kicking out after he gave away a foul where he probably was fouled initially, but he basically gave a kick on the floor to the opposition player and was sent off in the 90th minute, which obviously doesn't have that much of an effect on the game because it was so late on. The highlight game is definitely Cole versus Bray. You feel like that will, at this stage, be the playoff final. So the fact that Cove have generally got the better of Bray this season, that's an indication of where they're at, and that'll give them confidence in a couple of weeks' time when you would expect them to be playing each other in that playoff final, especially away in Bray. Dundalk, they're basically champions. I mean, Athlone are one of the worst first division sides we've seen in a while. But still, like 6-1 just shows the levels in quality. Longford beating Treaty. That's not a good result for Treaty. They kind of had a run towards the midpoint of the season where you think they're in playoff contention, and they still are. But the last couple of weeks have been really poor. And then UCD Wexford. That's a result you kind of expect to happen.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's a very good run through of it all. Thanks very much. Yeah, it's an interesting first division year this year. Like, it seems to be kind of closer than it ever has been. And Athlone have just been, I can't get over how much they've fallen off after the season they had last year. Like, I actually, this shows how much of a plastic fan I am, but the only Cork City games I went to last year in the first division was Athlone twice at home, and both times we struggled against them. I think it was a 2-2 draw in the last one and a 1-0 win in the first one, and we struggled a lot against them. So they've absolutely fallen off a cliff this year. They've been shocking, but look, that's just the way it goes. For the FAI Cup next, FAI Cup preview, it's obviously Cup week this week to the viewers, in case you didn't know. I'm just going to read out all the matches, and then we'll just for people who don't know the draw, and then we'll do a proper synopsis of it then. So the first one is Cork City against Waterford at Turner's Cross. Finn Harps against Bray at Ballybuffet. Salthill Devon are at home to Galway United. Bohemians are home to Sligo Rovers. Kerry FC are playing Cove Ramblers in Untitled Park. Derry FC are playing Drogheda United at the Brandywell. St. Patrick's Athletic are home to Shelburne. And Shamrock Rovers at home to Longford Town. So for the first game, to do a little review of it, actually. Another Munster derby clash between these two at Turner's Cross, as Cork City will look for revenge after their previous meeting at the RSC. Obviously, Cork City beat Waterford earlier in the year as well at Turner's Cross. So, it's going to be a really interesting game. Two sides who are on lukewarm form at the moment. And on matter of Cork City's very recent form, obviously it's been one of our worst seasons ever overall, but lukewarm at the moment, I don't know how this one's going to go. I suppose I'm going to go optimistic and say Cork City keep this trend of clean sheets and win 1-0. But look, anything could happen here. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. What do you make of this one, Jamie? How do you think this one will go?
Yeah, obviously there was the incident at the RSC a couple of weeks ago where you had Cork City fans fighting with Cork City players, like giving out. So it'll be interesting to see the reaction for this game. If it probably won't be similar things you would assume at Turner's Cross. I know attendances have been poor, but if they were to get a big turnout, I feel like this is the game in a cup game against what you would say is their biggest rivals, if not Cove. It is hard to call because obviously City are in this kind of mix of a really negative season, but the cup is kind of where form could go out the window and you could grab a result. There's nothing to lose. Like they don't desperately need to get points. It's just kind of something to add to their season in a way. So I think it'll be close. I could see City just magic of the cup, like stealing it, you know.
Sorry, yeah. Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, you're still there. Sorry, I thought you're finished. Sorry, you just kind of cut out for a little second there. Pass it on. Yeah, no, that's perfect. I think you just cut out towards the end, and that's why I was confused. We'll move on to the next game. Finn Harps against Bray. An all first division clash at Finn Park as Finn Harps host Bray. Can Bray put last week's performance behind them and get into the quarterfinals? So obviously, yeah, Bray had a disappointing result last week. But Finn Harps, I believe, beat Kerry away, so you know they're in a decent little run of recent form. Yeah, I think Bray have been like quite good this year. They're up there for promotion places, but for playoff places. But with the form Finn Harps are on, and with it being at home as well, I can see this being a very scrappy game. But maybe Finn Harps edge it 2-1. I'm going to say. But yeah, it should be an interesting one. It's good that there's an all first division tie, that we'll have another first division team into the next round. So that's positive in my opinion. How do you see this one going?
I'd like to see Finn Harps go through, but I expect Bray to win it.
Fair enough. Yeah. So next game we have Salthill Devon up against Galway United. It's an away day for Galway in their own stadium as they face the only non-league side left in the draw. Is there any chances of a shock here? Look, I don't think so. With all due respect to Salthill, they've done very well to get this far. But I think Galway should run away with this 3 or 4-0 realistically. It's a good Galway, like they've obviously been very poor recently, but this is a good game to potentially get the confidence up a little bit, or potentially reduce their confidence to the lowest point of all time. But yeah, no, I see them running away with this 3 or 4-0. How do you see this one going?
I mean, Salthill obviously have Enda Curran, who's been a very successful League of Ireland player. Like, they do have individual quality for the upset, but you would expect Galway even in the bad form. I've spoken a lot in the last couple of weeks about how I think John Caulfield should step away. I don't think the club will get rid of him. I think the only way he leaves is if he makes that decision. You would surely think if Salthill managed to pull something off, that is the final nail in the coffin, and it would be time to step away. But I mean, I think it's very likely they go through Galway.
Perfect. Next one up is Bohemians against Sligo Rovers. Has potential to be the game of the weekend at Derry O'Mahony Park as Bohemians host Sligo Rovers. Yeah, it could be really close here, but Sligo are in fairly dodgy form at the minute, and Bohs are one of the best teams in the competition left at the moment. I don't want to go 2-1 again, but I expect the Bohemians win. That's all I'll say. But I honestly haven't a notion what the scoreline will be. How did you see this one going, Jamie?
Ooh, I don't know, to be honest. Like, I know Sligo got battered last week, but I could see something like a 3-2 Sligo. Like, I feel like they always bring goals. And I just see an exciting game. You said it'd be the game of the weekend. I will be at Montauk Park, but it'll definitely one I'll be catching the highlights of. Yeah, I think 3-2 Sligo. I think they nick it.
You seem to have a lot of faith in Sligo, which is
I don't know why.
But it's totally fair. To be fair, they have been they did very well to get from almost rock bottom to in actually a fight now to stay up. So I can understand why in many ways. The next game is your team, Kerry FC, up against Cove Ramblers. Another Munster derby on Friday night in an all first division clash as Kerry FC host Cove Ramblers at Montauk Park. These sides meet for the 15th time in Kerry FC's 3 seasons of existence. Genie, wow. Who will make it through to the quarterfinal? Look, Kerry seem to have a bit of a knack for the cup. They drew Bohemians very close last year to get to knocking Bohs out. So, but look, Cove have been so good this year. I think they will see it through. But yeah, who knows? Because Kerry you'll obviously be able to comment much better on Kerry than I can. But they have a bit of a knack for playing well in the cup. So yeah, but I still expect Cove Ramblers to see it through and get into the quarterfinals. I mean, what a season for Cove Ramblers, by the way. If they get to a quarterfinal and if it's second place playoff, I think regardless of how the playoff goes, that would be an exceptional season for them. But yeah, how do you see this one going into?
Yeah, we played Cove earlier in the season, the Munster Cup. They beat us 3-2. We were up 2-0. And then we drew with them at the start of the season in St. Colmans Park. It was a 0-0 draw where they should have really had a penalty. But it's an annoying draw because we played them so much and they're better. You would expect them to win. We're missing a lot of our good players. Obviously, Akute got sent off last week. I believe Sean McGrath is injured. Niall Brookwell got sent off a couple of weeks ago. It was a 3-game suspension. Not sure if he's back or not. I expect Cove to win. I think there'll be a fight, obviously, of course there will. But yeah, it'll be 1 or 2-0 to Cove.
Perfect. Next one we have up, it could be a close one again, and it's a repeat of last season's FAI Cup final as Derry City hosts Drogheda United. Will we have the same outcome as the last minute winner for Drogheda United to come out on top? Yeah, I think this one will be really close. Like the both teams have it's been some of the best matches of the season this year. There's been 3-2s, there's been red cards, and in the Premier Division I'm talking about, between two sides that have been very impressive in my opinion. So yeah, I think Derry edge it. I think Derry have got to win something over the next few years, and maybe this could be their year. I don't know. I do think Derry edge it. Drogheda haven't been as convincing since the loss of Douglas, James Taylor, etc. They still have an amazing manager, obviously. But yeah, I do see Derry just about edging this one, but it could be very close. Honestly, it's actually a hard one to predict. I would say it's probably after Bows Sligo. It's probably the game of the weekend after that, I'd suggest. How do you see this one going, Jamie?
It's tough to call. Obviously Derry were big favourites going into the FAI Cup final last season. I think Drogheda were priced at 4-1. But it's a completely different Drogheda side. It's in some ways a completely different Derry side. Obviously a new manager. It'll be close. But I'm going to edge Derry. I'll go with yourself at 1 or 2-0, close enough. Edgy game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I see it going. Next one is, again, I've said this a few times, it could be the game of the week. I know it kind of loses its meaning when you keep saying this, but anyway, St. Patrick's Athletic against Shelbourne, a Dublin derby on Sunday evening, actually. So as both sides return from European action to their journey in the FAI Cup, I see, this one is very hard to call. Both teams I think it has to be said, both teams have disappointed this season in their performances. I really thought they'd be both challenging for the title, but instead, they just haven't been that good at all. However, St. Pat seems to be in slightly better form. Really good result there against Sligo Rovers despite the controversy. So I think I'm going to edge St. Pat's with home advantage, but it could be a close one. Hopefully, it'll be a good game. How do you see this one going?
The reaction to the loss yesterday for Shelbourne will be interesting. St. Pat's are obviously playing Besiktas tomorrow. And then what will be interesting is how they line up, because there's a 3-goal deficit. So do they fancy themselves to come back from 3 goals against a Turkish giant? I don't think so, but I don't think they'll play a B team either. What's their priority right now? The second leg of that game or this game? I'd fancy Pats. I think this game goes to penalties. I think it will be close, but I think Pats win on pens.
Penalties is a really good shout, yeah. The next one is Shamrock Rovers up against Langford Town. Now, look, just to show a bit of respect to Langford Town, they did get a really good win there over the week in the first division. So, you can never fully rule the team out, but obviously Shamrock Rovers are massive favourites here. But the magic of the cup, who knows? I hope, so I hope Langford can pull something off, but all signs suggest that this would be a comfortable Shamrock Rovers win, which is what I'm going to go for. Probably something like 4-0 or 4-1. How do you see this one going, Jamie? This is the last one of the week now.
Yeah, you would expect Shamrock Rovers to batter them. There's not much to really say, is there? They could probably play their second team and still win comfortably enough. Look, you would say something if it was one of the better first division teams. You know, if it was a Bray or a Cove or a Dundalk, who are obviously out, but you would think, oh yeah, there's a chance. But like with Longford, I would say no.
Yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts exactly. That kind of brings us to the end of the podcast, lads. So I just want to thank everyone as always for listening in. I hope you enjoyed. The support recently has been absolutely crazy. The download on Spotify, the views on YouTube, we really appreciate it. And we want to try and take it to the next level as well. So if you have any suggestions, guests, or just little things we can improve on, the comments down below is your place to go for that. So please let us know. Thanks so much to Jamie for coming on firstly. Jamie, pleasure as always.
Thank you, Dan.
And thanks so much to Millenial Dad and Dylan Talks Footy as well for coming on. Absolutely, like, honest to God, like if you told me I'd be doing podcasts with them, lads like them at the start of the year, I wouldn't have believed you at all. So it's an absolute pleasure. But yeah, thanks so much, lads, for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, etc., etc. And we'll catch you next week. Slán live.